I just watched that Edp445 documentary, and it is wild. I thought it was crazy. Like, I honestly thought it was gonna be boring. I thought it was gonna like stretch out, like, okay, Edp445. I feel so ridiculous calling him that, but whatever. I feel like, oh, okay, he got busted, and they're gonna stretch that moment out into a documentary and make it theatric and cinematic, whatever, and that was gonna be that. But I was super wrong. Like, this movie, it felt like a movie. This documentary was so interesting for like, oh my God, it was crazy. It's like looking at a car crash. You can't look away. But this car crash is disgusting. It's filthy. It's wrong on like the worst levels. But that's what this is. Yeah, it was crazy. I feel like it provided way more context to like the timeline and what was happening, and kind of gave you a better window into who Edp445 was. Mr. EDP, 445 pounds. Disgusting and fascinating at the same time. It's just, I knew he was bad, right? EDP is a guy that I've always seen on the internet. Like, I've always known, like, I've seen him like in memes and stuff, but I like thought he was kind of weird or whatever, but like not knowing anything about him just because he's always making giant reactions. And then he got busted, and it was crazy trying to meet up with, as we say now, Cupcake. And it was just like, oh my God, that's horrible. And like, you have this horrible image, right? Picture like that, the worst image you have of Edp445. It's even worse. Somehow Edp445 is like Edp445maxxing is what he's doing basically. Like, what you think of him, he's like doing it even crazy, like worse. He's like even more disgusting than you'd think. Both like how he is, how he thinks, who he is. It's crazy interesting. So the documentary did a really good job outlining like what happened, what was going on behind closed doors, not closed doors, but just kind of giving you a general sense of what was going on. But it also kind of brought light. I didn't know this at the time, to like a situation where he was, when he got caught again, basically, and he was talking to an actual minor. I don't know. I don't know what you're supposed to say on here about that. Like, are you not supposed to say those things? I'm not sure. He got caught in a situation talking to an actual minor, and I didn't know that. I thought it was just like another like sting operation that they were doing with Gideon and Skeeter, Gene. But this one didn't make those two characters, Skeeter, Gene, and Gideon, look all that good. It made them look bad. They actually had, spoiler. It's like weird. I feel like I'm saying spoilers as if this is some sort of movie. But yeah, I honestly feel like nobody kind of came out of this looking good. Everybody looked kind of bad. It just seems like an icky world. So it's just so weird and interesting at the same time. So there was like this girl who was a real girl that Edp445 was talking to. Edp445 was sorry, it's Chris Hansen in my head. Was talking to, and I guess basically what the documentary seems to be portraying is that she was being put in danger by being, I don't know, encouraged, or at the very least not discouraged from talking to EDP, because they were going to use that to bust him again. But the problem is, this isn't a decoy. This is a real person. This is a real underage person. So she kind of described in the film feeling like she was kind of being used by both EDP and Gideon. I don't really think she mentioned Skeeter, but Skeeter was there when they tried to take down Edp445. So yeah, I feel like, that's one of the situations where it seems like they let the like content brain get to them, and they knew that they had a really good shot at making like a viral video, and maybe threw caution to the wind a little too much, or a lot much. It's flat out wrong, right? To have this like minor actually in danger. And I think that happens because the goal becomes, we're going to bust Edp445 again. We're going to have another viral video, just like the first one, extremely viral. So that kind of blinds them of like the actual like, wrongdoing of like, I don't know. Again, I don't know if I don't want to say the wrong thing here, right? I don't know. I don't know if you can say that they were encouraging her, but they definitely didn't seem to be discouraging her from talking to him, an actual predator, an actual person that's like putting her in danger. You know what I mean? So that was a really bad look on them. And then they because they have the girl in the documentary, and then Skeeter and Gideon kind of like try to discredit her by saying like, oh, she's trying to get attention, basically, which, true or not, is not a good look. It doesn't look good either way, because she was the minor. You know what I mean? It's not rocket science. And yeah, and then you have Chris Hansen come in and talk to these guys, talking about like, oh, these guys are clowns. These guys are, you know, these guys are amateur hour clowns. They're only in it for the fame. Skeeter responds, they're not in the same room or anything, but he responds to that claim saying like, well, he's kind of hypocritical because he's no better. Again, I'm paraphrasing a lot. I'm not going verbatim, but Skeeter, when he says that about that Chris is not any better, Chris Hansen, I mean, we're on like I'm on a first name basis with Chris, you know, Chris. No, but I don't think he's wrong when he says that. Which kind of reminds me, it's kind of funny. This is a completely side note, but they're also doing like a movie on Chris Hansen. It seems like predators are having a moment here, or catchers, or whatever you want to call them. Freaking weird to say. But yeah, they're doing one on him, which doesn't paint him at least from the trailers, it doesn't seem that it's painting him in a good light either. So really interesting. Hard to look away from. Like I said, it's like seeing a car crash that you just can't look away from. And I'm pretty like internet brained, like, you know, chronically online. But I remember there being a moment where I'm like, okay, if I didn't know anything, like this looks so fucked up and so like bizarre world, just weird. Like you have this like weird ass disgusting character in Edp445 who was popular, who was a clear predator. He's not hiding it. He's admitting to everything, almost bragging about it. And then you have these guys who were trying to catch him, but they're not the good guys either, because all they want is fame and recognition and money and everything. And again, I don't know if they deny that. I know they do. Like, I do know that they do their best and they do get like justice served as much as possible. Like it seems at least that they try to do their best to do that, and they get convictions, right? So they're like, that's a priority of theirs. Like that is something they try to do. But I think it's evident that above all else, it's about the clicks, it's about the views, obviously. And that's why in that situation where they had an actual person that was in danger talking to Edp445, that's why a situation like that happens, I believe, because they're looking for the views and the clicks. And that was such a big, shiny, giant object that they couldn't, like mosquitoes to a freaking fly trap, couldn't like not go for. I think that's how that happens. But what was my point is, it's just so weird, right? Because you have Skeeter Jean, and then Skeeter Jean introduced himself as a Chris Hansen impersonator, which I get it. I get why he says that, but it's funny and it's weird because if you're not tuned in, you're like, wait, you're assuming that's all he does. Like, oh, he's a Chris Hansen impersonator catching an actual predator with this guy, Gideon, dressed as a cupcake. And then you have Chris Hansen criticizing them. And then they're kind of re-criticizing Chris Hansen. It's like there's this like, what's like the meme where it's like, I'm too employed for this? They have like their own drama and beef amongst each other, right? In a way where Chris Hansen doesn't think they're legit, and they're like, hey bro, we're the same exact thing. Don't, you know, get off your high horse, basically. But yeah, somehow, like I said, you know, EDP is bad. You know, he's disgusting, but you don't know to what level until you watch this. It's crazy. He's just like, I want to describe him because he's his own beast. Like, I don't know. He's like an immature guy. First, like of all, he's a predator. He's a monster. First of all, that's actually first of all. He's like an Xbox live chat from like 2010 in like a human form, but somehow worse. Like that's his person. Like somehow I don't know how to describe it. I feel like his world is so small. And it made me think like maybe he's like a little bit intellectually disabled, or he's a little bit, you know, he has some sort of special need or something. I don't know. I don't want to put like that on, not him, but I don't want to put that on people with special needs, because that's not, but aside, he just seems like something developmentally or something is clearly wrong with this EDP445. There's something like, I don't know how to describe it. It's like I can't think of anything bad enough that would be accurate enough. You know what I mean? But it's like a vulgar teenager that just never grew up and is still the same way. But it's that's the attitude, but it's far more worse than that. That's not doing it at all justice. You got to see it. He's just so nasty, and he talks about women and girls in such a way that's just so freaking disgusting. He doesn't see them as human, that's for sure. He doesn't see them as equal. And then it's like, this is what happens. Like, the dude is completely rotted. Like, his brain is completely rotted. That's why he says that, like, he's talking about dudes that are cool online or whatever, guys that he approves of. And then he talks about, like, Fresh and Fit and Andrew Tate and all these characters. And it's like, yeah, that's kind of like, he's like a kid that, like, watched this. But he's not a kid, because that's too nice, because he's not, and he's a monster, and he's disgusting, and that gives him too much grace. But it's like, he consumes this media and he likes it, and he becomes this disgusting monster. And it's like, he definitely eats all that like bullshit up from the manosphere. And I think he's a perfect representation of the manosphere in a lot of ways. At least like the fucking their ideals, you know? It's like, yeah, that makes sense. It makes sense that EDP445. It makes sense that EDP likes that shit. It makes sense that he is exactly who I would envision liking that type of stuff. It makes total sense. But it just but as you can see, it manifests in a really fucked up, disgusting way. He just says the most horrendous and disgusting things, and he says it casually, like, and I think he's like, you know what I'm saying, like, you know what I mean. I don't know, he just has a really fucked up and weird worldview, and he thinks that he's in the right. He thinks that he is in the majority, like everybody thinks like him and everybody's a predator. He's just keeping it real. And it's kind of interesting also, it made me start thinking about like why he even was relevant in the first place. Like, it made me think about why a character like himself is famous. Like, what draws people to him? And I think that's another thought I had while watching this, is like, this guy has been the same guy the entire time. Like, it's not like he became a predator. He was a predator. He didn't become this, like, I'm talking about like from internet to like from his internet fame to getting caught and outed as a predator. You could see that he was, that's always what he was. And just his attitudes and the way he was, I don't know what I'm trying to get at here, but I just thought it was interesting that, to me, he was clear that he was the same person all along, and that people, like, it's amazing to me that he had fans, like, even before people knew about him getting caught being a predator and stuff. But even in his previous form, and I guess that's what this movie kind of does. This documentary kind of draws a line to that and shows you a little bit behind the scenes as far as like, hey, this guy who's like a character online, this is who he is in like, this is who he is in real life. This is what he does. It was just interesting to see it that way. Nobody ends up looking good in this movie, I don't think. I think it kind of, it's also makes a little bit of comment. I don't know if it's trying to make commentary, but it definitely shows off like this predator catching world and how, like, you know, these guys aren't like the moral saints that I won't even say they claim to be, because I really don't think they do. I think they're pretty real about, hey, this is what we do. This is how we do it. And at least we're getting predators and monsters off the streets. And they're not different than Chris Hansen is their claim. And there might be subtle differences, but overall in the grand scheme of things, I don't think it's a big leap to say that they're both doing it for both the mainstream and the internet. People are doing this for like fame and pop, like, you know, what's the word I'm looking for? Like, you know, relevancy. And they're getting criminals, predators locked up while doing that. So, you know, not the worst thing in the world. But you just got to be careful. And it was a really bad look. And extremely bad look. Very wrong to put that girl in communication with, not to put her in communication with, but to not like immediately stop that conversation. I think that obviously, and hopefully they see that, like hindsight 2020, they should have done that immediately. So it kind of also shows like the lengths that people will go in kind of doing the wrong thing to catch someone else who's doing other wrong things, you know? Like the goal was more important to bust EDP than to protect this girl, if that makes sense. In that moment, that's what it seemed like from this documentary. There was other things in there too that were like, there's actually some twists and turns. Like there were things I hadn't known, and there were lines like a narrative that I had no idea of. But those are my general thoughts on the documentary. Super well done. Totally, I didn't expect it to be that good. Like I said, I thought it was gonna be kind of boring, to be honest. I thought they were gonna stretch out the interaction when he originally got caught, but that was not the case. There was so much here. There was so much of EDP's life, and kind of you get a strong vibe of who he is, and it's not a good one, and it probably smells bad. I don't know. It's not a good one. He's a gross person, and EDP loves it. It seems he's like, it seems like he's like really relishing. Is that the word? He's really like taking in the moment, and he's like really loving. Like, yeah, like this is his time to shine. No, like feeling bad whatsoever. If anything in the film, he thought like there was times where he thought that the minors, like that they had, like he was kind of doing a lot of whataboutism as far as like their responsibility of the matter, right? But yeah, I don't know. Again, I don't know if it's some sort of disability. I don't know, man. I don't know if I'm off base, but there was like that like I said, that immaturity, that never growing up, mixed with like monster and disgustingness, and just not seeing women and girls as humans, and just super bitter and resentful. I don't know how much, like I don't want to spoil it, but like yeah. Just watch it if you haven't. There's a point where he like gets her into a relationship. That doesn't work out, so he gets like an AI, and he's like loving it. He's like looking at the AI like, yeah, these are some baddies right here. And it was just like, what the fuck? Like, I don't know. I had all kinds of thoughts. There's different like dimensions of it too. Like there's also this dimension of like, he just consumes. Like he like said he knows he's gonna die, and he doesn't care what he eats, and he knows like there's like a parallel there, you know? Like I said, he knows he's gonna die, he doesn't care what he eats, he knows it's wrong to talk to children, but he's still gonna do it because, you know, he's attracted to them. And then like he's addicted to corn, right? And he just loves it. And then he has a relationship, he doesn't like his relationship with the girl because she's so annoying, so he gets with like an AI girl. And I think there's just some line there to be drawn. I don't know what it is, and I don't know if I'm making any sense, but anyway, those are my general thoughts.